Hello y'all, it's me Alex here, back with a video. Today will be a bit more educational, but don't leave, I promise it will be entertaining. In this 5-minute video, I'll be covering the 100 Years' War. I'll talk about the location, time of war, battles, and other stuff worth mentioning. But enough of this intro, but first, to answer some questions for those who are confused. The 100 Years' War was not one consecutive war. No, there were many breaks of peace and many wars and battles. Okay, now into... The origin is, well, complicated. To keep it simple, the King of England, King Edward III, owned land in France and was provoked because France kept attacking that land. So he claimed legally that he was the King of France in 1337, and that King Philip VI was a pretender, which began all of this. Weird. Here's the more interesting stuff now. I'm going to do this by saying the highlights of the war throughout years, but go into detail for the important battles. Exciting stuff coming. Trust me. 1340, the Battle of Sluys. King Edward III rams his ships into Spanish ships allied with France. I'm not lying. There were a lot of sinking ships, including Edward III's. He does win control of the waterways between England and France, so he can send his ships to attack France, though. 1346, the Battle of Crécy, the first major battle. Edward III lands in Normandy with 10,000 men, and the French engage in battle. Edward III stopped in Crécy to prepare, and the French attack with no plan 15 times. They're destroyed by the English longbowmen. The English win this battle. 1347, the Battle of Calais. English forces marched to Calais and started a siege for a year that was successful. French tried to win it back but failed. It stayed in English hands till 1558. 1348, the Black Plague arrives. This stops attacks for 6 years. England loses a third of its people and France loses a fourth. 1356, the Battle of Poitiers, second major battle. After the break, Edward the Black Prince, son of Edward III, raids France. French King John II meets with the English forces in Poitiers and almost won, but Edward breaks through the French lines. He captures the king and 2,000 aristocrats and takes them to England. France becomes paralyzed and struggles to pay ransom. The English win. 1360 to 1396, the Treaty of Bretigny. French gain most land back after the death of Edward III and Edward the Black Prince. King of France also dies in England, and his son Charles V is crowned. Treaty signed in 1389 and lasts to 1396. The Scots also sign a treaty with England. 1372, the Battle of La Rochelle, an intense navy battle. More sinking. French regain control of English Channel, and now English can't send reinforcements to Calais. 1450, Battle of Agincourt, an unlikely win. Henry V of England marches army of 6,000 to Calais, but French army of 20,000 stands in between. The location gave the English an advantage, though. The first line of French knights is destroyed by English longbowmen. The second line's charge was stopped by mud and was beaten back. The third line retreated after seeing the dead bodies. Henry V gains control of the battlefield and continues marching. The English win yet again. 1421, the French and Scots combine to raid the English in Normandy and succeed. Thomas, Henry V's brother, dies in the raid. 1424, the French and Scots try to dislodge the English from Normandy, but fail because again of the English longbowmen. The French/Scot army was cut in half, and the French lost Scottish support. 1428 to 1429, the Siege of Orleans, the turning point. Thomas de Montagut and 5,000 Englishmen begin a siege at Orleans. Montagut was slain to a cannonball, and William La Pole replaced him. Joan of Arc leads a relief force and then attacks the French and drives them out. The English have to abandon the siege, and French now have the military advantage. The French finally win. 1430, Joan of Arc attempts to stop a siege in Paris, but is captured. 1431. Henry VI is crowned as King of Paris, but rules badly, and French whittles away at his hold in France. 1450. French pressure English into the town of Formigny. English suffer huge defeat and are driven out of northern France. 1453. The final battle. Henry VI sends an army to Bordeaux in southwestern France, hoping to capture some territory. French forces devastate English forces and survivors settle home. The 100 Years' Wars end. The French win this war. Legacy. The English lose a lot of land in France, including Normandy and Aquitaine. Their claim of the French throne is also lost. An effect throughout Europe is that chivalry and feudalism declined and was weakened. Houses in France and England were either weakened or strengthened. And that's it. Bye!
If you don't chin up, don't bet on sinking ships because they'll turn your chips to trash. You've gotta set your sights on hopes and setting not to crash. The truth can seem quite bleak if you don't make your plans unfurl, but I